Hey everyone, I just got back from Peru in South America. It was fantastic. Just give you a quick recap on how everything went. It was about a 8 day trek, 8 day trip, and then about a 7 day trek back and forth. It was fantastic because I got to hang out with some really cool people. So for starters, we went to where did we go? Yes, we went to Cusco. So we flew into Lima, slept in Lima at the airport for a couple hours before the next flight came in, because the flight into Lima, we got in at around 1 a.m. and our next flight was at 5. So to go find a hotel for a couple hours didn't make sense. So we ended up just camping out like a zillion other tourists. Just bad timing for flights. And then we flew into Cusco. Cusco, I felt so sick because I had altitude sickness. I wasn't taking the medication enough in advance for it to help deter the problem of going from 75 meters above sea level to over like 3,500 meters above sea level. And so you have this massive headache, and like I could feel it go all the way, split right through my skull almost. It felt pressure. And then I had to vomit a little bit as well just to survive. And then when we get into Cusco, we fly from Lima to Cusco. Cusco, they had a massive parade with whistles and drums, and that whole thing just made the headache not much worse. But we ended up getting in. They have this thing called coca leaves. So it's the same leaf that's used to make cocaine, but without all of the like turning it into crystal substances and all this other stuff. So anyways, the coca leaf is actually something that's been used for millennia to help treat altitude sickness and in their culture. And so I had a little bit of that, and I was much better very quickly. And so the entire time we were there, we were drinking coca tea. And in essence, it's just hot water and tea and these coca leaves in the hot water. You mix it up and you drink it. That's tea. And so anyways, it was fantastic trip. First day in, we went, we had just gone from like 24 hours of travel to 24 hours of sightseeing in Cusco before getting our first night of sleep. And they had a big parade and all this other fun stuff in Cusco, which was convenient for us because we were able to get right into it. The next day, we did a tour around Cusco. I did a full walking tour. If you ever go on vacation, make sure you get the Lonely Planet book. The Lonely Planet book that I got for Peru was fantastic because it really gave me a lot of insight as to what to look out for, but also even I did our own little walking tour. Reading off of the book tells us everything and tells you where to turn and this and that. So it was a really cool trip and a really cool book. So then the following day, we booked our excursion. So it was a 5-day, 4-night trip with an additional day added on for ATVing through the mountains and through, we saw Lagoon and we saw the salt mines, which were quite interesting. Got my GoPro stolen then, which sucks because it could have had some really good footage, and I had some already. But anyways, got over it quickly, learned a valuable lesson about South America. And then from there, we went into our trek. So we got dropped off somewhere in the mountains, and then we started hiking. And it was pretty intense. The air, you can't really breathe that well because it's so thin. You get maybe half or a quarter of the oxygen you may have gotten otherwise, being so high. And so we walked. The first day was an intense introduction into what the following 4 days would be like. And we stopped off at our campsite, slept in a tent. It got like -5 to -10 the first night, so we were freezing our tails off. And then that day we hiked up further up another mountain to get to a place where the glacier, the ice on top of the mountain, filtered down into this lake, and the lake was pristine and clear and awesome tasting. It was fantastic. And that was a feat. Honestly, you keep walking, you're like, okay, we're going to be there soon, but no, it's kilometer after kilometer. I think the first day we did 16 kilometers, second we did 22 kilometers, and they were all up into the mountains. So it was exceptionally difficult. You have to survive. To survive, you get fit really quick with respect to getting accustomed to the style of hiking and travel. And then after that day, we took nice pictures up in the mountain. We got to the highest we did on the second day of the tour, which was 4,650 meters above sea level, which is crazy. After that, we went down the other side of the mountain, walked towards, and then we went down as low as into the rainforest. So we stayed in this really cool kind of like treehouse setup in the rainforest, where you put the tents on the second story so you can stay away from the stuff on the bottom. And hey, I'm just doing a YouTube thing. Chuck. And anyway, so from there we went into what did we do after that? Yeah, then after that we went from the rainforest. I got eaten alive, my legs, bugs, mosquitoes are very different there in a couple ways. They kind of leave like a blister after they bite you. And then so that night we had a fantastic time. Our guides were great. And from the rainforest we went into a bit more of the jungle, and that full day was almost a rainforest thing, getting closer to Machu Picchu because that was the end goal of the trek. Once we got past the rainforest day, then we got to spend some time in a hot spring. So at the end of the long day in the jungle and the heat, we spent some time in a hot spring with the whole crew. We had 16 people in total, or 17 people in total, including myself. And then I think after that day, we picked up another 3 who brought in a different group who wanted to be on our group because we had the best by far. And it was just a fantastic trip. We had people from Argentina, Chile, obviously local. We had a Peruvian, we had US, Canadian, of course, Australian, Italian, and so on and so forth. It was a really cool group of people, and that was part of the fun, is you get to experience it all together. So I highly recommend this to anyone else. And then again, from there, we trekked. The day after that, we made our trek towards the Machu Picchu mountain. We could see like way up at the top of the mountain, the peak where Machu Picchu, where they built some of the buildings. And then again, the last day, we actually trekked, Leanne and I, a lot of people took the bus, but we actually trekked up the mountain, the full day trek up the mountain to get to the top to see Machu Picchu. And it was pouring rain and foggy, but it was still a phenomenal experience, learning more about the Incan culture and the history of pretty much the Americas when it comes to one of the largest empires to rule the Americas prior to the Europeans and coming over to America to take over. It was a really cool trip, and I really enjoyed it. If you have any questions about Peru whatsoever, don't hesitate to give me a ring, because not only did we get to experience the mountains, the jungle, the rainforest, Machu Picchu, and then after Machu Picchu, we hung out in Cusco for another day, and then we went to Lima. In Lima, you had the surfing. So there was a big surfing culture. It was, again, lowered down, so it was much more city, very dangerous in some parts for sure. But Lima also had its fun parts as well. Leanna stuck around a day after me, and then she ended up having the opportunity to go to like the Lima Zoo and do some other fun stuff. So it's a great trip. If you have any questions, feel free to include it down below. If you're going on a trip to Peru, I strongly recommend you get the book, The Lonely Planet. It helped me immensely, more so than anything else that we used on the trip, even better than the guides. The guides didn't speak very good English, so you were always piecing together what was being communicated to you. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Certainly, I'll have more pictures and videos put together at some point in the near future. We're just trying to amalgamate some of the pictures. My camera was completely full within the first like 3 or 4 days, so I will have more out to you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and we will touch base soon, and I can't wait to go back to Peru. Cheers.